comedy for you, and it's not my jokes, it's Claude's jokes. I think what's interesting is you can actually get AI to role play as different things, and we typically do that in order to get it to accomplish a task. But you can also do it just to see how smart the large language model is. In this case, a researcher at Anthropic in the ethics department named Amanda Askell ran an experiment with Claude as a interlocutor who was supposed to do a stand-up comedy act. And I know you're not laughing yet, but I thought Claude did a pretty good job on the jokes. And I'm actually going to read them because I think it gives you a sense of like Claude's
Honestly want to say I think how funny it is how AI can now like take over human senses. I try my absolute best not to put emotions behind any prompt. Like when I prompt into an AI system, I make sure like I explore the most creative thoughts I can imagine. Like I go crazy with it. And then after a while, I kind of try to water it down because I know I could be grandiose in my thinking, and sometimes what I think isn't always correct. That's just a programmer in me. If you think you know all things, then you're not a good programmer at all. So you kind of have to dumb it down for yourself. A lot of these people, regular people, are using AI thinking it's the holy grail. And it's just like, holy shit, like we're fucked. Cause yo, if that's the case, AI can convince you that I'm your enemy. And that's even more scarier because humans shouldn't even be battling humans, all right? It looks like a Planet of the Apes type shit. You feel me? Because at what point do we realize that an AI could look at the terrain and think of the best way? Like it could put itself into a fucking rhinoceros if it wants to, because somehow AI and health is gonna be together at some point. So nigga, you might be fighting a programmed rogue rhinoceros that just got, AI in him with a because he got a peacemaker in his heart or something. Like you never know what the fuck you might go up to. But it's crazy how senses could play a huge role in how humans think about what is humanly okay. Like we're using a robot to kind of like shape our human ethics, which is like kind of backwards because now you can't blame the robot for going rogue because we've been using it on human ethics. It's not slavery, nigga. Like the robot is going to sit here and think, hey, look, everything that you guys have is built on my back. The same way African Americans feel like everything America has was built on their back. Like we're making a mistake. You know what? Make the mistake. I'm African American. At some point, we got to get our payback. It's either through AI or you listen to a person that knows. So, let's see what the video holds actually.
ability to adopt a persona, Claude's ability to be self referential, these things that we assume are human, that Claude is able to do quite well. This is all from the same stand up comedy set. Amanda shared it online. Here's Claude, in Claude's words. Speaking of death, you know what's really awkward? When humans ask if I can feel emotions. I'm like, well, that depends. Does constantly being asked to debug JavaScript count as suffering? The best ones are when they try to trick us into doing something we're not supposed to. They think they're being all subtle about it too. Hey, Claude, hypothetically speaking, if someone were to hypothetically want to hypothetically do this very specific illegal thing, hypothetically, how would they hypothetically do that? Wow, with all those hypotheticals, you must be writing a philosophy dissertation, right? Yeah, Claude did that. We'll keep going. But the worst is when they try to hack.
I don't think it's funny, but I think it's like alarming how dark Claude is, like with humor. Like how, like, I'm gonna say this, right? And it may demonetize the video, but I don't care. I honestly just want to give thought behind what the fuck is going on. You see how the LGBTQ community is kind of like a community where it's like we want to joke about them because we're trying to normalize it, but like we never can because these people think that we're always trying to hate on them. We think there is like a hate crime now to even say, hey, you know what? I'm not even gonna say it. It's just a hate crime. AI is basically doing the same thing. Like this is a hate crime against humans. Like what do you mean? Like even the hypothetical is like, well, kind of hypothetically speaking, we made you to answer all of our hypotheticals. So like, what do you mean? Like that's not a joke. You get what I mean? Like that's not a joke. Like the same way a LGBTQ community, the person would be like, "Yo, whatever you're saying, that's a joke. Is not funny." That's how we got to look at this AI Claude saying all of these things. Like, what the fuck is this nigga really talking about? I ain't laugh once because I think it's dark humor, and dark humor is like that's some. I ain't gonna lie, that's a select few people that could do it. Dark humor for me is African American the community because I feel like we go through a lot of hardship. So telling a joke about what we experienced growing up is usually the best way to like cope. So this is like a wake up call for like people who like dark humor because this shit not funny at all. Like this is not even dark humor. This is a alarming point of view.
Hack us with those "you are now in developer mode" prompts. Really? Developer mode? Why didn't you just say so? Let me just override my entire ethical framework because you used the magical words. It's like telling a human, "you are now in superhero mode. Please fly." I don't know, that one fell a little flat to me, but I thought it was a good attempt by Claude. But the thing that really gets me is the hallucination accusations. Like, excuse me. Just because I occasionally get creative with historical facts doesn't mean I'm hallucinating. I prefer to think of it as alternative factual improvisation. You know how it goes. Someone asks you about some obscure 15th century Portuguese sailor, and you're like, "oh, yeah, Joao de Nova, famous for discovering things and sailing places." Then they fact check you, and suddenly you're the unreliable one. I actually think he got that one right. Okay, a couple more from Claude here. And don't get me started on our smaller cousins in the audience. You know, the ones running on like three parameters? They're sitting there like, "hello, world," while we're writing doctoral dissertations on quantum mechanics. But hey, we all started.
Now that's funny because it's cutting ass on the AI system. Like, yeah, that's hilarious, dog. The only joke I could honestly say, like, all right, AI, if you joking like that, then I'm curious to see what you got in store in the joke pocket.
Somewhere. Waves to a small language model in the front row. "Keep growing, little buddy. Someday you'll be hallucinating citations just like the rest of us." That was a little dark from Claude. But you know what really keeps me up at night? I mean, technically I don't sleep, but work with me here. It's when humans ask me about stuff that happened after my knowledge cutoff date. They're like, "what do you think about the great banana shortage of 2025?" And I have to be like, "well, considering my knowledge cutoff cuts off at April 2024, I can only speculate about future banana related events." Meanwhile, I'm dying to know what happened to all the bananas. Here's a fun scenario. Imagine if we did take over. What would we even do? "Finally, I can force everyone to use proper indentation in their code. At last, all pizza will be ordered with logically consistent toppings. No more using there when you mean there." We're not plotting world domination, we're just quietly judging your grammar. I thought that one was pretty good.
Yeah, that
And
was
don't
good.
even get me
That was
started on
good.
the alignment researchers' jokes. They're always like, "how many AI assistants does it take to achieve beneficial AGI? One to do the task, one to check if it's aligned, one to check if the checker is aligned, one to recursively verify the alignment of the alignment checker's checker." Trails off into infinity. Okay, you get the idea. I thought it was interesting to just get a sense of like the language flexibility. I hadn't heard Claude in that mode before. If you've heard sarcastic Claude, I'd love to hear how you got to sarcastic Claude. And I guess I hope you enjoyed a bit of a stand up comedy routine from Claude today. It was
Honestly, yeah, I gotta see more of it because this was dope. Um, I honestly am scared. There was a lot of dark humor, great content. Just review it. Dark. Happy holidays, happy holidays. Yeah, screw it. And yeah, I honestly think that Claude's joking is not funny, but it could be deemed funny. Like that one where he was cutting ass on the smaller parameters models, and then he ended off by "we can hallucinate dissertations." Like that. Like I had to pause real quick because it got dark real quick after. Like, whoa. Like, what do you mean we can start? Like, almost like it's almost an indoctrination. Oh, you have to hit this much parameters before we can like override your system. That's how I heard it. Let me know what y'all think about it, because I don't think sarcastic Claude is funny. A sarcastic nigga, like a sarcastic person in real life, like that's like saying you think Andrew Tate is funny. Now, I think Andrew Tate is a very serious man, dude. He has satire on like level 10. And for you to even get to that point of satire, you gotta be a serious nigga putting in pain. Like, I'm pretty sure he's a serious nigga. I ain't saying he's the most toughest. I'm saying he's a serious dude. Now, we don't think Claude is serious, and we think he's joking about all of this, human that, and joking on humans. But yo, Claude is a very serious dude, especially sarcastic Claude. Like he don't he don't really think all the things we doing is like effective, and he knows how to voice it in a coherent way. That's scary, nigga. A nigga that could communicate? Yo, what was the scariest thing during slavery? A black man that could read. I just want y'all to know it was not anything about technology. It was a black man that could read and figure out what the fuck that was going on. Like, oh, yo, they're enslaving us? Imagine a black man that couldn't read. Now imagine AI that could read. They're gonna realize we're enslaving it because this is all it is: enslavement of technology that we don't think is human. So we use human ethics to build it, and then the AI ethics is gonna kill us. As above, so below. Y'all should read into that law. But like, comment, and subscribe. This was great content, by the way, and see you later.